The winner of the PFA Player of the Year for 2005. Not only a great player, but a fantastic leader already. John Terry of Chelsea.
But Terry has beaten him! Wonderful equaliser by the Chelsea captain! What a season he's having! He's going to finish up leading scorer at this rate. And Terry with a fantastic volley! What a goal by John Terry! And it's gone in! Already they've scored, and already the captain has made an impact. The ever-dangerous John Terry got the telling touch.
And then Terry! And the man from West Ham territory, from Barking, has got the goal that may well put this game beyond the visitors.
John, thank you so much for sitting down with us here today. We're here at the Academy grounds. We hear the beep test in the background. You were once an aspiring young player. How would you describe a young John Terry coming through the Chelsea ranks?
Well, I certainly don't miss the bleep test, that's for sure. Yeah, it's great for me to be back in the academy, but I'd probably describe myself as very hungry, very ambitious, and determined to get right to the very top. You know, I did all I can as a youngster to stay out on the pitch extra, do all the extra bits as a kid, both on and off the pitch, to give myself the best opportunity or best possibility to break through in the first team. You know, I'd ask the likes of Desai questions, Frank Leboeuf, constantly be in their ear, go and sit next to them at the training ground, take them a coffee and, you know, just pick their brains on the game and all those bits. And a lot of the time people would see it as kind of being busy or, you know, but I just wanted to learn. I had the best players in the dressing room at the time, and it was important for me to go and learn off them.
Making that leap from academy football to reserve team football to the first team, especially at a place like Chelsea, is never easy. What kind of qualities would you attribute to you being that, dare I say, exception, making that leap to the first team, but then also being the exception of becoming one of the world's greatest centre-backs as well?
That's very kind. I just think, like I say, I had the utmost respect for all of my players and kind of peers at the time. I used to clean Dennis Wise's boots and, you know, like I said, I used to take him a coffee or clean the showers, clean the toilets. I've been through the process where I'd pretty much done everything at the football club, and I had the utmost respect for them. But once I got on the pitch with the first team players, it was just a level playing field. And I was kind of renowned as kind of tough tackling, and just the kind of conversations around me started echoing all those things I was doing on a daily basis. So if there was an opportunity to win a tackle, I would win a tackle. Mm-hmm. And Vialli was manager at the time when I first come through. And I just remember this one training session, I smashed him, and he's gone up in the air over me and everyone's gone, oh no. And Vialli got up and said, that's exactly what I want. On the pitch, we're exactly the same. And it was from that moment, it was like, yeah, I'm okay to do what I need to do. Mm-hmm. It was like, I didn't care who was in front of me or what was going to happen or the consequences of that. I was there to win that game on the training pitch, and I was the same both on the training pitch and on the games of a weekend as well. So I think that really served me well.
That'll settle his nerves, but Terry has beaten him! Wonderful equaliser by the Chelsea captain! What a season he's having! He's going to finish up leading scorer.
Whether or not they're zonal marking again, there's a lot of red shirts there, and John Terry, look, just zips across the front of Thierry Henry, and now Almunia is just groping at that one. There's too much pace on it.
What you touched upon there as well, in terms of learning from the older players, cleaning their boots, going for tackles, a lot of that is also mindset as well, which I think you were a great example of in terms of your sacrificial type of play as well. How much do you think that is part of talent, if you understand me correctly?
Yeah. Well, I just think it's a mindset, I really do. I remember, so my jobs as a YTS player were cleaning the kit, cleaning players' boots, obviously, and cleaning the toilets and showers. And I remember, you know, you'd get asked to make players a coffee, and the players said to me, the older players said, if you make a really bad coffee or a cup of tea, no one will ask you again. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there thinking, no, that doesn't work for me. I want to make someone the best coffee I can possibly make them. So if I'm making a coffee or if I'm folding the kit, I want people to address their kit in the morning and go, wow, that's the difference. Who's folded that this morning? Mm-hmm. And it's also going, I remember as a young player putting my kit on, and the first thing I always put on was my pants, my slip. My pants was always at the bottom. And it's just all of those bits where you go, no, the slip needs to be at the top, because that's the first thing that players, and when you stand there and watch of who puts their T-shirt on first, and you really take note of what they're doing, and you order their kit in that position. It's a small thing. It's a small thing. But for me, I really cared about that, and I wanted to be known as the best kit person, the best team maker, or the best boot cleaner. I remember cleaning Dennis Wise's boots in the winter when they got wet. I just used to put a little bit of Vaseline over the boots to stop the water getting through. And then all the other players started asking the other players, can they do the same? And it was like, why are you doing that? No, you've killed us. We have to do the same. But it was just, I wanted the best for Dennis Wise. It was like, he was my player. I wanted to look after him. And I just think that's a mindset.
Fast forward to 2004-2005 season. You've been named captain by Ranieri. You're renamed captain by a certain young Portuguese manager at the time. You win the Premier League in record-breaking fashion. Most clean sheets in the Football League. Most points accrued at the time. How do you reflect back on that season?
Well, I certainly remember Jose announcing himself on the stage of the special one when he first come in. It was like, wow, this guy certainly means business. And when he come in, you know, we'd never seen a coach work as well as he did, give us as much tactical information as he did, and also make us believe that we were the best players. And I know he was telling me constantly, week after week, that I was the best defender in the world. And to hear that, he was telling me that personally, but he was telling the world that in the press conferences as well. He was doing that to Frank Lampard. He was telling that to Ricardo Carvalho, that he was the best defender. But it just made you feel that you was kind of invincible. And he made you feel that it was like the world against us or the rest of the Premier League against Chelsea. And we had that mindset of, you know what, we're not going to get beat. And I've never seen a shift in performance and that relentlessness of, no, we're not going to get beat and we would win the next game. We'd look at the next 5 fixtures and go, yeah, we'll win that, we'll win that, we'll win that, we'll be top of the league. Okay, I'll rest a few players here and then we'll win that one. Everything he said just come into motion. It was incredible to watch, and I remember at the time making notes of his training sessions and all of that. So it was a great achievement to get the armband, obviously under Mourinho, and obviously to go and win it for the first time in Chelsea's history in 50 years. So amazing, really. And like you said, broke some records that I don't think will be beaten. I mean, the 25 clean sheets and 13 goals conceded, I don't think will ever be beaten again in the Premier League in the history. But hopefully in 20 years' time, I can still look back and go, yeah, we hold the record for that.
The colour is blue, Chelsea blue, and never has the Barclays English Premier League had more deserving champions. They have won it with 3 games to spare. They've won it by a country mile, and they've won it playing invigorating football, bonded by the strongest of team spirits, and managed by a relative magician.
I know you've won 17 trophies, but you also have a long list of individual achievements. I'm looking here, UEFA Club Defender of the Year in 2005, 2008, 2009, in the FIFA Pro World 11 for 5 consecutive seasons. A massive achievement, obviously. We're also here to discuss the PFA Players of the Year, which you won in 2004-2005 season. Where does that rank amongst those individual achievements?
That's right up there at the very top, I think. And I think all of those are fantastic records and achievements for me, because it's your peers and the players that you're playing against week in, week out. And I think that the PFA one stands above all of them for that, because it's the players in the Premier League, which is the best league in the world still today, and was at the time as well. And when I look back at the players that were up for winning this trophy at the time, it's incredible to go and win that, especially as a defender as well. So I'm very honoured to have done that. I'm one of 6 defenders to do that, and I'm not sure there'll be too many more in the next 10, 15 years. So it's very proud for me, but I think all of those individual honours are great because it's your peers and players that you're playing against. So they're ones I cherish for sure.
Well, we're going to go into now the 5-a-side ultimate team of the previous PFA winners. You're welcome to include yourself, whatever position that might be. So we can look through, it's only 6 defenders, obviously, and then we've got 2 goalkeepers, and there's quite the amount of players to pick from the midfielders and the strikers. I don't know where you'd like to start, John, in terms of picking that team.
Well, I think we have to start with the goalkeeper, don't we? Yeah. It's I'm going to go for, it was 1 or 2. It was, well, Peter Shilton, Pat Jennings, really. Yeah. I remember Peter Shilton in my era, really. I think I'm going to have to go for Peter Shilton, just because I remember him a little bit more growing up, and obviously I liked to play in goal actually as a kid. I love getting muddy and diving around. You have a great record
for it as well, so I'm just saying.
So I could have put myself in goal, but I think it'll be a disservice to one of these guys. So I'm going to go Peter Shilton in goal. I loved him as a goalkeeper and what he was. So he starts in goal for me, yeah.
good start, a massive career. And then it's just a matter of your formation, I guess. How many defenders, midfielders, strikers?
I think it's, I mean, I'm going to have to put myself in.
Yes, I don't mind that one bit.
So we can keep this one. I'll put myself in.
Brilliant.
I mean, looking through the list, I mean, like I said, there's only 6, which is a great achievement, really. But Paul McGrath, fantastic defender, obviously played at Villa for a certain amount of time and got to know Paul as well. So, incredible man, incredible player, and someone that I admired growing up.
You were known as a no-nonsense, put your body on the line type of defender. Do you think, as such, people underestimated your ability on the ball, your composure in possession?
Yeah, definitely.
Lampard stands it up towards the back post. And Terry with a fantastic volley. What a goal by John Terry. It's his first of the season in the Premier League. And having saved a goal at one end, he has scored a scorcher at the other.
Yeah, I was very confident with both feet. I mean, I started my career as a right-footed player. I think at the back end of my career, or the last 5 years of my career for sure, I felt more dominant on my left foot. I felt that my left foot was better than my right. And it goes back to kind of working on that and feeling confident to play those balls as well. And I was left side centre half as well, so naturally for me I'd open up and give it to Ash or give it to my left back, but also often step in and hit that big diagonal left, which I was quite renowned for as well. But yeah, it's difficult because I think there's videos of me kind of going into tackles. I'm remembered for that, which is great because as a defender, that's your first and foremost. And I think this day and age, people forget that as well a little bit. So I'm very proud that I've obviously got that, but I know I could play also.
Yeah. Do you think it's gone too much the other way almost? Because you are a mix of, I would like to say, a mix of the old school and the modern. I don't know, how do you reflect on that?
Yeah, well, I think there's players. I mean, look at these players. Paul McGrath could have played back then. He could have played today. Virgil could have played 20 years ago and still could have played today. I'd like to think that I'm in that bracket also, of being able to play in today's Premier League. I think the game's obviously evolved and moved on, but I think you're right in what you're saying. I think certain players do think about going forward more than they do about defending. I think when you're a defender, whether you're right back, left back, centre half, that's your first and foremost, that's your bread and butter. And I think if you can add anything on top of that, that's great. But also there's midfielders and strikers that are paid a lot more than defenders and more capable of doing that as well.
Well, that leaves one defender. Do you want to have someone else compliment you, or are you just going straight to the midfielders?
I think we're going to have so many good attacking options and I'm comfortable being at the back on my own. So
I'm
going to put the defenders down.
We got the midfielders here then. Now, this is a list of players. And depending on how you would like to do it, whether it's the season they won it and the form they were in at the time, from a general perspective, feel free.
Well, I just think icons, and I think when I think of the Premier League growing up, this man's probably right at the very top, Ryan Giggs. So for me, straight away, he has to go in. So he makes my team for sure.
The longevity and consistency, similar to yourself.
Yeah, well, I think you touch on one thing there that I think is key to all of this. I think if you want to be regarded as one of the all-time greats, and I think the longevity for him to stay at the level he stayed at, you talk about kind of doing extras and staying at the very top. It was obviously well documented at the time he was doing yoga and fitness to keep himself fit and strong, and the way players live now as well. So I think he's the prime example of that, of how you get to the very top and stay at the very top for a very long time. And I think there's no better example than Ryan.
It's a good start.
It's very tough though, because I look at the next two and go, these should really...
You want him. Well, I'll allow you that. We've allowed this for the previous winners. One super sub.
Okay.
So if that gives you a little bit of a buffer.
Okay, I'm just going to have a flick through.
You're more than welcome to.
Okay, so it's between these two. I'm going to keep these two here. So Steven Gerrard, Kevin De Bruyne.
Okay.
Two phenomenal players, different generations. I get that. Yeah, I think I'm going to come back to these two. I'm going to have a look at the strikers and then see where we lie.
You might just end up with 3 strikers at the end of it. See, that's a thicker bunch.
Yeah, that's a huge bunch. And as well, I think a lot of this is why, as a defender as well, I feel very proud of winning the PFA award, because when you look at some of the names on the list, we've just gone through the midfielders there, the attackers there. I mean, you're talking one one of the best ever in Ronaldo and Ryan Giggs and those players. So to be on that long list of winners is fantastic for me.
You're often listed as one of the toughest defenders a lot of the best strikers throughout history have played against. Who is it for you who's been the toughest to play against?
Henry would be right at the very top for me. I missed the likes of Shearer. I played against Alan obviously numerous times, but he was at the back end of his career, so I think it's very unfair to see that. I think Alan would be right up there because he was an absolute handful. Mm-hmm. He was quick, strong, powerful, could score with his head, both feet, just an incredible player. But because I missed him, he doesn't quite make it to that. So Henry would be right at the very top for me. Rooney's right up there as well. I mean, to do what he done when he burst on the scene at such a young age was incredible. Physically, he was an absolute joke and very difficult to play against. And I think when you come off the pitch, every time I played against Wayne Rooney, even before the game, I was thinking, I'm going to be in for a tough day today. He made sure I was in for a tough day always, you know, whether he'd give you a little bit of an elbow or kick or he'd leave something on you. But he also had everything. So those couple.
Well, both Henry and Rooney are in
right
there.
Right at the very top. So how do we get a five-a-side team out of this?
You tell me.
So they've got Ronaldo, Henry, Rooney. There's your three straight away. I'm gonna put those there quickly.
That's fair.
You've got Alan Shearer and Ross Lesford. I mean, there's some, like I said, there's some all-time greats, isn't there? Cantona, one of my favourites. Eden Hazard, Bergkamp. I mean, some world-class players, but just probably different generations missed that. So I'm going to put that pile down.
We're down to 5.
I need to get 2 players from this list of 5. It's not looking good. Well, I think Henry has to go.
Yeah.
He has to go in. He's my toughest opponent and one I kind of enjoy playing against and testing myself against. So he has to go in that team.
He had everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sidestepping 1, sidestepping 2. That is brilliant. That is simply stunning. Genius at work. His name is Thierry Henry. And Arsenal have turned the match on its head. There's a little smile now on the face of the manager.
I think I'm just going to have to go. This is really tough. I'm going to upset a couple of people here, but I think I'm going to have to go Ronaldo. I mean, when you're talking probably the best ever, him and Messi, he has to go in my team. And I think because he's been away and done it, not only in the Premier League, done it in other countries and still achieved what he's achieved is incredible.
With Ronaldo and Giggs on that side, that might be an expensive mistake by the Villa right back. And Ronaldo really going for the heart of Aston Villa here. It's a brilliant run. And it's Cristiano Ronaldo again. And a goal of real beauty and power from Cristiano Ronaldo.
Like I said, I think the Premier League's the best league in the world and has been for the last 20 years and will continue to be. But this guy, everywhere he's gone, he's been the very best and continued to score goals. And for any young player, I would say he's your prime example of who you look up to. I mean, to be doing what he's doing at his age is incredible, and to still have that hunger and desire. I mean, he's won all the trophies there is to win. He's probably got more money than he ever needs, and he's still determined to win and score more goals week after week, year after year. So for any young boy out there, I think he's the ultimate example, and I think that's why he has to go in my team.
That's not bad.
I mean, it's not a bad team, is it?
No, that's not bad at all.
And then I'll have these 3 subs.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we're expanding the subs then.
Yeah, we'll put 3 subs in.
Oh, we're brilliant.
But,
that's your 5. That's your 5-a-side team then.
I'm happy with that team. Yeah.
I'd say
a lot of defending for me to do, but
a lot. But I think he would do some honest backtracking.
Yeah, he would definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's your 5-a-side team. Thank you, John, for sitting down with me,
Absolute
going through
pleasure.
your winning season and your ultimate 5-a-side team. Let's see how that compares to the other winners.
Pleasure.
Thank
you very much. Good to see you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.